Hello friends and welcome. I hope you enjoyed us running, because Okabe's been running since Monday. Dang it, Samuses. Skull be down, I'll become more powerful than you can imagine. What did I do with the quotes? So I see you've read my announcement. I have this new bot. It's called Pot Pie Plays. And I may have migrated all of my quotes over to it, and it went from being 1 index to 0 indexed, as well as I removed, there were 2 quotes that were very similar. And yeah, but we have a new bot. Also why you couldn't ban the bot. No worries. But yeah, we have a new Streamlab chat bot. Yeah, so quote 3, the quotes are going to be... So if you're looking for quote 3, that's probably quote 2 now, and then around... I'm gonna guess around mid-20s to 30s. I got rid of one of the quote duplicates, so everything up from there is kind of messed up. So feel free to play around with it. Also, it means that now instead of add quote, it's quote space add. Gosh dang it. The VIP isn't even a P. Oh, hello, Slavebeard and your party of 6. Hello, Panic. Hello, Chaos. Hello, Mr. Coffee. Hello, Sherb. Hello, Deadbeard. Yes, you can't scold here, because you have done the correct thing and not given me a large amount of money. Yeah, shout out Slavebeard. What was Slavebeard playing?
Suspicious.
Okay, now I can give you the finger. Stop that. You see that? You see that suspicious thing that came up? You should stop that. What was Slavebeard playing? They were playing nothing. Yes, I'm the one who juggles. Juggling is a channel point redeem.
Suspicious.
Now, listen here, Sherb. You stop that. How do I feel about coffee? I'm probably going to disappoint you by saying I don't really drink coffee. I am just a morning person in general, and I just have water all the time. It is sad, I know. Jeez, Okabe running is actually kind of annoying me now. So let's get the show on the road, because I don't want to hear him.
Suspicious.
What was that? Samus's. You stop that as well, sir. And hello, Avier. Yeah, I just don't drink coffee. It didn't trigger Hype Train. Probably because it was you, Sherb, and also Sherb. It needs to be 3 different people. But this... We have a Hype Train now. Guys. It probably said one more person, Samus's, but because one of those was already you.
Suspicious.
Guys, I haven't even done my intro yet. I haven't even said, like, hello and welcome, my name is Popeye, and today we're playing some Steins Gate Zero. And before we continue with this game has some mature themes that you should all be aware of, because they're not for everyone. If any of these things makes you feel uncomfortable, please find some... I will scold all of you at the end of this. Please find some place that would make you feel more comfortable. This game includes themes such as torture, death, murder, blood, gore, rape, assault, kidnapping, any of those things against a minor. If any of those things makes you feel uncomfortable, please find some place that will make you feel more comfortable. If you missed what I said, please feel free to ask or look down in the description where I have a list of trigger warnings for all my games. Now, what nonsense... what nonsense have I got here? Deadbeard. I know this is the you Deadbeard, not the fake Deadbeard who gives me money. You stop that. Panic has gifted a sub to Obi-Wan. Deadbeard, what did I say about gifting a sub to Uncle-Bot? I told you not to. I have proof of this. You did it anyways. And Burning Hat, you stopped that too. So when I was naming my bot, I was stuck between two names. Pot Pie Plays and Bot Pie Plays, and Deadbeard was like, hey, what about Uncle Bot? And I was like, huh, well that's already taken. Sucks to be you. Where is your hydrate? Here is your hydrate. I'm realizing in my chatbot console I don't actually get to see redeem, so give me 1 sec to expand. Are we on a level 3 hype train? I couldn't see that either. Gosh dang it, guys. Give me a sec to minimize some stuff. There we go, that's better. And then I'll move you around, and it should be a level 0 hype train. The hype train should not have left the station. That's really what should have happened. Did I miss anyone else for hydrates or anything? I'm just going back. I'm glad that fake beards got deleted. There you go. Show love minus 1,000. There we go. You unget the hype. But yes, I wanted to move on from this because the sound of running is actually starting to annoy me. Thank you for the $10. It's your own money back. Also, I saw you added a quote at some point. Deadbeard, what did I say about giving a sub to Uncle Bot? Thank you for the quote. I mean, you can make me juggle, because I take my headphones off, I don't get to hear it. You get to suffer through footsteps while I juggle. I don't have to suffer through this, only you do. You can prolong the suffering if you want. That's fine by me. But you're only forcing it on yourself and not on me. Fine. There you go. I don't have to listen to this anymore. Here you go. See? I can't hear it. And now you get to look at my face. And you get to hear me doing footsteps, like... There you go. I hope that's what you wanted. Okay. That can go up a little higher as well. This juggle better line up perfectly with the beat. I mean... Actually, it'd probably be better because footsteps, you have 2. There, I hope that lined up for you.
Suspicious.
Oh, almost. We'll get them behind the back.
Suspicious.
And keep the balls up in front too. That would be nice. Wow. Or just keep them both up. That would be really nice. Oh man. I'll come back to that one. Everyone likes cross-hand juggling. It looks fancy. It's not really. Okay, let's go back to the behind the back.
Suspicious.
So close. Man. Maybe it's not in the cards today. We'll come back to it again. See what we can get. We can do... Oh, I was gonna say we can do the foot stall, but I can't get that either today. There we go. Know how much you love my feet. There you go. Ah, I want it so bad. There we go. Jeez, that took a while.
Suspicious.
There we go. Why do I see juggle love and feet hype? What? What is going on?
Suspicious.
Big Daddy's feet. Guys. 24 hour juggle.
Suspicious.
Did we just hit level 4? Guys, tell me we didn't just hit level 4. What did I tell you? Why are we at level 4? Why? Do you want the stream to go on? What did I miss? It didn't line up, not even close. Do we have a stream where I juggle responsibilities? Juggling act? Wait, who gifted a sub to Juggling Act? Dang it, Panic. Stop gifting subs, stop giving bits.
Suspicious.
Wait, Juggling Act has been subscribed for 2 months in a row? Alright, I want to move... Will this stop the... No, he's still running. I need to practice more. Yeah, see, I don't practice at all. That's the problem. Prior to streaming, I'm self-taught with juggling. So everything I've learned, I've learned from looking at stuff on the internet. So it's quite possible to do it without, you know, like going to the circus and, you know, living there with the bearded lady for a year. And I was kind of doing juggling, it was mainly throughout high schools when I started, and early, mid-university, and then I kind of stopped for maybe about 4-ish years. I've only kind of picked it back up now that I've been streaming. More bits from Panic, stop that. See, it's okay. Don't panic. Just don't. Read the text. Don't panic. Listening to these footsteps causes Papa to go insane and shout, "These time changes are more complicated than time travel!" You'll stop spamming chat when game stops spamming your ears. I never gave a summary of what the heck we were doing, because we had a hype train. His endurance is here. So, last time, just to give people some context and warn you for what's coming up. I know I gave trigger warnings, but sometimes that's not enough. So, last episode, we had a fight with Maho about her making the time machine. Mayuri heard it, and we hadn't told her that she's only alive because we chose one of our other friends to be killed instead. So, she runs off, crying, meets up with Suzuha. The two of them decide they're gonna go back in time to try and find Steins Gate without our help. That caused a shift in timelines, which I don't think they've actually shown Okabe having noticed. So that's kind of interesting, actually. Maybe this has gone back in time a little bit. But suddenly there's about 30 people on top. They take Mayuri hostage. They have Suzuha open the time machine because it's got a biometric lock. Suzuha has some knives hidden there, takes them out, slits the throat of one dude, throws it into the forehead of another, takes Mayuri and an assault rifle, shoots a bunch of guys, hides behind the time machine. Then the remaining soldiers are just shooting at them, you know, pinning them down, and a bullet ricochets, hits Mayuri in the head somewhere, and she's bleeding. All of a sudden, her daughter, Kagari, shows up and's like, "What did you do to mommy?" and proceeds to just slaughter about a dozen men, who are now just like lying there bleeding on the top of the roof. Eventually they retreat, and I think at that point it switches to Okabe, who's now just running. And he's been running since Monday. For a guy who's like, I'm way out of shape, he's been running for like 3 solid days. Yes. Mayuri has a child from the future who is here. And her child is now older than her because time travel. Oh, is the hype train done? Why am I receiving hype train emotes? Who are our hype train conductors? You need scolds. Samus is, and I'm guessing Panic. Shame on you for the subs, for the bits, for giving a random person yeah, you're one of the hype train conductors. Giving a random person 2 years. This ruins your streak. Not 2 years, 2 months. I always thought my area needed continuous supervision. I mean, I don't think she really changes much in the future. She's from... You're almost at 2 years. Instead of scolding Sam, it says, can I just show an anime figure and say, I hope you enjoy your redeem of dropping balls. I mean, I could. We all know how much Samus loves the anime figurines. But let's try and get past all this pitter-patter, because you guys have had pitter-patter for, like 18 straight minutes. Sousa is just fine, and before long my area will show up at the lab like nothing's happened. Ignore all those gunshots, it's nothing. Hey, it stopped. When I reached the radio building, I realized that many people in the crowd of pedestrians were holding their phones up to the sky. There was evidently no service near the station either. You're a little sad that the Anime Redemption's closed? I mean, just for you, I can roll for it. And tell you to enjoy your redeem of dropping balls. Just have to find my D10. No, Deadbeard wanted it, and you said you were sad, so I'm just fixing a problem here. Where's my D10? There's my D10. Number 9. Why does it have to be the one that's furthest from me? This is what I get for leaving things up to luck. Okay, number 9 is this guy. Todoroki from My Hero Academia. He's got a nice two-toned... Here, let me put this full screen. He's got a nice two-toned flower. Can it focus, please? Can you focus, please? Maybe not. To match his hair. There you go. Samus is his band random chatters. Deadbeard wanted it and you said you were sad, so I'm just fixing a problem here. I took a moment to catch my breath as I looked up at the radio building. I could hear what sounded like a distant explosion. Is that what explosions sound like? That's not an explosion to me. Deadbeard is banned promises. It wasn't just one. The explosions were coming in a series. Several of the people around me were glancing at their surroundings, confused by these unfamiliar sounds. And then I realized, that was gunfire. I remember the sounds I'd heard during the battle between CERN's rounders and the Russian military. The sounds were coming from the roof of the radio building. Had I not made it in time? You bam them? Bam! I ran into the radio building. Man, for all his endurance, he just ran for like 3 days to go basically like a couple kilometers to the subway station. He's got great endurance, but man, his sense of direction sucks. This is timed out Sherb. Reason, bam. For some reason, the elevator was under maintenance and turned off. I had no choice but to take the stairs. My heart was pounding so fast that I thought it would burst, and I tripped several times due to how tense I was. I stumbled again and again on the stairs. How many times had I come up these stairs feeling like this? Cursing my lack of endurance, I headed for the top. Your lack of endurance? You just ran for 3 days, man. I don't know if you can time someone up for 0 seconds. I think 1's the minimum. Great endurance. If only I knew which way to go. Well, the way he wants to go is up. So remember, kids, you can have great endurance, but you have to remember to go up. When I got to the 7th floor, I ran into someone I hoped I wouldn't see. No, my guess that I'd run into them was right. I wish that I wasn't, but... Beardy is just fully banned, sure. Did you misclick? That was Discover? You banned her for -1? So, Deadbeard has just unlocked time travel. So apparently if you time someone out for negative time, it results in them being timed out for infinity.
Yeah, Rintaro. Masaka konna ni hayaku kimi ga kuru to wa.
Does this mean you can't? Dr. Lessman seemed perturbed when he saw my face. Timeout -1 is a ban. Good to know. Metal Oopa? I think Deadbeard made a Metal Oopsa. You'll have to go back in time further than 1 or he'll just get banned. Bammed. That was his answer. Even though Amadeus disappeared, Leskman was extremely calm. Can't remember the quote? Well, you got like a 1 in 116 chance. There was no sign of him trying to deal with the problem, and instead of being in his office, he was here. That was all I needed to know.
Chrisが俺に送ってきたメッセージの内容は本当だったんですね。
The father that she'd spoken of was Leskinen after all.
クリスや魔法どうしたんです？
Just force you to never leave this chat.
彼女たちの記憶データを解析してタイムマシンに関するデータを取り出すつもりなんでしょう。
I mean, hostage situations aren't abnormal in my streams.
驚いたな。クリスはそこまで君に話してしまったのか。監視していたつもりだったが、いつの間にそんな真似を。
Leskinen seemed truly shocked, which meant he hadn't noticed that Chrissy was an @channel or that she'd spoken to me there. And then Leskinen took out a gun and pointed it at me. Samus's, why did you just make us all lose the game? This is Samus's fault. Also, I'm gonna have to share with people, there's a wonderful meme that I've been wanting to share that uses this exact screenshot, and it's just him holding up a gun to us saying, "Where are the anime girls? Where?"
君は少し踏み込みすぎたようだ。
あなたは何者なんだ？
科学者だよ。だが科学者も実践授業ではないのでね。
I mean, Samus says, I just saw the word lost come up. And that was all that was all my brain needed to make the connection. And then I saw a game, and then I'm like... But I'm glad to see that you admitted that Ferris is truly evil. As is Lukiko. You said so yourself.
君はストラテジックフォーカス社というアメリカの民間情報機関を知っているかな？
ストラテジックフォーカス社。アメリカの。
Oh, this is a lovely shot of his knee.
ストラトフォーカ。
If there's one person that's truly evil, it's Sherb. But whenever she DMs me, dang it, Heaven Daddy, don't force open our secret places. I'd read about them on a conspiracy theory website. I remembered reading that they'd acquired top-secret information on Russian ballistic missiles that even the CIA couldn't get, and then sold it. The result was the destruction of the CIA's reputation. Bam. Good fanfic material. At the same time, the total reorganization of Russia's military strategy. Wait, if you negative time someone out who's already banned, does that unban them? I'd even heard rumors that during the Gulf and Iraq wars, they'd obtained information about the warring countries faster than anyone and spread it as needed. Can you big sherp time?
影の CIA などと呼ばれているのが私たちだよ。
So he's going to use Amadeus for military purposes? It does not. Okay. It just says they're already banned. Fair enough. Guess that makes sense. Is everything he said at that seminar just platitudes and lies?
私のことはどうでもいいだろう。
Burning hat with a very late hype train.
それよりウィンターロー、勝美から聞いたのだが、君も例の新型脳炎を発症しているそうだね。それどころか、新型脳炎そのもののメカニズムについて何か知っているらしいじゃないか。
Redeems Marty McFly. Marty McFly will hit one of the Steins gates and change this from Steins Gate 0 to Steins Gate -1. Just like he did with that mall.
実に興味深い。君の持つその
And then he's basically banned Steins Gate, so... Dang it, Marty McFly. Why have you done this to us?
何? 簡単な施術を受けてくれるだけでいいんだ。そうすれば、私は君を助手として迎え入れてもいい。
This is the weirdest job interview ever. We're just sitting here, he's holding a gun to us, being like, hey, can I just, like, probe your brain a bit, and then I'll give you a job. Like, it seems like a great deal. This is how it works in America. For some reason, my whole body broke out in goosebumps at the word procedure. Dr. Luskin I knew, the man with a childlike, mischievous heart and deep scientific curiosity, the man who'd been so kind to me, the man I'd respected, was gone. His place was the cruel scientific fundamentalist, who thought nothing of human lives or hearts as he pointed a gun at me. Or was this who he truly was? Suddenly, he seemed like a terrifying unknown. He took a step towards me, and then... another fierce gunfight broke out above. Luskin clicked his tongue at the sound. He glanced towards the stairs. I took advantage of the distraction. Luckily, I was still on the staircase. I tackled his legs as hard as I could, and he lost his balance and fell. He hit his head hard on one of the steps, and after a moment's jerk, stopped moving at all. He might be dead. But I didn't care anymore. I'd become a murderer many times over already. When I opened the door, what I saw was a vision from the heart of hell itself. It was Sherb's Rimworld colony. I mean, no. There was blood everywhere, and bodies, too. In the middle of the sea of blood was a girl in a motorcycle suit and helmet, covered in crimson as she lay on the ground. She held a giant cleaver. I could see instantly that she was responsible for this disaster. Her shoulders moved up and down a little, so evidently she was still alive. I approached the woman, trying my best not to throw up from the stench. Actually, Harry's a sorcerer. Wizards have learned ability and sorcerers have natural ability, therefore Harry is a sorcerer. What is this angle? Why did they need to make, like, the front and center of this focus her behind? Why? No one asked me, Mr. D&D. Well, how about you roll for that, and we'll see what happens. Yes, but he has power before he learns. I rolled a 2. Beat that, Samus's. As if you could. I could hear her voice from beneath the cracked, broken helmet. I looked closer and saw some of the blood was her own. Her body was racked by bullet wounds, and her left hand was completely gone. Wait. Gosh dang it, your butt's in the way. I can't see your missing hand. It was a miracle that she'd somehow survived it all. Just a straight D20 roll. She didn't seem to notice me as she slowly crawled through the blood. I mean, you beat my 2 Samuses. It's that one of, like, you have 2 people, one's rolling stealth, one's rolling perception. And it's just like, where is Samus's? I don't know. I followed her gaze and saw Mayuri huddled beneath the time machine. That's not... I guess there's a bit of an overhang. I was gonna say, it's not really beneath. Go fish. Sunk the battleship. Can I make a point and click? Where's Wally? But it's where's Samus's? Yeah, that could probably be done. Souza seemed to be unhurt, but there was blood on Mayuri's face. I hadn't expected to see her here, and I was worried about her wound, but more than anything, I was glad she was safe. If someone has the assets... But Samus's, you are the main asset. She raised her face when she heard my voice, but the next moment, her eyes locked on the girl in the motorcycle suit. She saw the thing crawling towards her and screamed.
Mama!
That explains this scene, the assets. Game was obviously made via Twitter communication.
ママ、違うの。これは、だって、かがりは、本当は人殺しなんてするつもりじゃなくって、ただ、ママを守ろうとして。
Kagari? Did she say Kagari? It was only then that I realized that the girl in the motorcycle suit was the Kagari Shina that Suzuha had been looking for.
ごめんなさい、ママ。かがり、もういい。
Suzuha yelled, unable to take
も
anymore.
ういいから、動くな。死ぬぞ、お前。かがりはね、ママに怖い思いをさせようなんて思ってなかったんだよ。本当だよ。かがりはただママを助けなくちゃって。だからママ、お願い。かがりを嫌いに
Why
な
are
らな
we
いで。
honking Samus's nose? Is this how clowns play tag?
ママ、ごめんなさい。許して。
Well, Deadbeard, I think I think your tweet made it, because there's more assets. I didn't call you necessarily a clown. I made the connection of honking noses. Clowns have big noses. Is this how clowns play tag? At last her strength failed and she collapsed. I returned to my senses and ran to her before Suzuha could get there.
おい、大丈夫か？
Her breathing was wheezy and shallow. One of the bullets had probably pierced her lungs. I thought taking off her helmet would help her breathe, so I put my hand on it to remove it. But she grabbed my hand and pushed it away.
いや、やめて。取らないで。ママと鈴葉お姉ちゃんの前では。お願い。
I mean, based on this picture, it's already off because I can see your face. Your voice and the way she talked. I realized who this girl called Kagari Shina was. I looked close and saw I recognized her face.
そんな君はなぜ
Surprise!
ホカリンおじさん、かがりは？
来るな
I quickly motioned to Suza to keep her
こっちは任
distance.
せろお前は前よりを頼む前よりの傷は大丈夫なのか確認してくれ
She looked upset, but did as I asked. Went back to Mayuri and started to look at her wounds. Mayuri was covering her face and trying not to look at the
大丈夫。
bodies.
マユ姉さんの傷は深くない。
I relaxed a little when I heard that.
よかった。ママ、無事だったんだ。よかった。
Someone famous followed you back on Twitter? I'm curious, who's followed you back? Is it Deadbeard? Because he's pretty famous. Kagari's voice was just a whisper as I cradled her in my arms. You got followed by the Pope? You got followed by Samus's? And then she slowly closed her eyes. Her breathing got weaker.
しっかりしろ君はなんで
大丈夫。心配しないで。私、こうなっても痛くも苦しくもないから。
You'll be the hairy Pope?
いつも神様の声が聞こえるの。君は痛くならないよ。苦しくならないよって。だから全然岡部さんには伝えておくね。本物は何も知らないです。3年前からヨーロッパに留学中だから、教授が私を秋葉原へ送り込むために裏で手を回して、本物は本当に何も知らない。
教授だって
Did
こ
she
の世界
mean...
線では本当は来年なんですよ。橋田さんと本物が出会うのは。
Kagari opened her eyes a little once more. She looked towards the time machine, towards Mayuri and Suzuha.
大丈夫。きっと本物も
That's your Twitter for the month?
橋田さんのこと好きになります。私と同じように言っちゃった。誰にも内緒ですよ。
And this time her smile was still shining in her eyes. They closed for real. With one final shudder, the strength left her body. Her life faded away in my hands. There was so much I wanted to ask her. Why had she appeared before us using that name? There were so many things I didn't understand. But Kagari Shina's life ended in that
ホ
moment.
カリおじさん、かがりは無事？
You get more notifications from your hat Twitter than your actual Twitter. I came back to my senses when I heard her voice. I told her about Kagari's death, it would cause her a lot of mental stress. That wasn't a good idea. Right now I need to do something with the time machine as fast as possible.
大丈夫だ この子は俺が病院へ連れて行く。
I slung Kagari's bloody body around my shoulder and stood up.
鈴葉、急いでタイムマシンを停止させて偽装しろ。もうじき警察がここへ。
Tell her to stop being dramatic. It's only a mortal. It's only a flesh wound. How'll he know people are streaming the day after they've streamed?
もう遅いよ。
Oh, this is epic music. This is final boss music right here. Before I could open the door, a huge shadow appeared from within. New music need a new juggle. Wasn't he dead? He must have taken a lot of damage to the head. Yeah, like look at his health bar, it's already half depleted. Because his face was the color of clay, and one of his eyes wasn't focusing.
すぐにここは戦場になる。
Check the date and time 16 hours ago.
アメリカもロシアも日本も動き出してしまった。一度回り出した歯車はもう止められない。カガリがもっと早く我々に報告していれば。
When did this become Trails of Cold Steel, South Carolina? Have you never played a JRPG? Any Japanese game. It either ends with someone you loved or knew very well being the final boss, fighting a literal god, or taking on, like, the leader of a country, who then also might want to become a god. That was Trails in the Sky second chapter, I think is the one you're thinking of. If you love the leader of a country... Less than I knew about Kagari, which meant that I was right. How many professors did we know? Souza spoke before I could. He'll be the alternate, much harder post-game boss after you defeat the god. Or the final boss is actually a time-traveled version of yourself.
あなたはそういう人だったんですか。
別にこの私が何かしたわけじゃない。
I feel like that's in a game somewhere. Like, I feel like I've played it. That seems too good to have just been made up on the spot by my brain. My brain is not that talented. Lesson didn't try to deny it.
10年ほど前、路頭に迷っていた彼女を助けて、ここまで育つよう援助してあげたんだよ。
援助って。普通に生活してたら、彼女がこんな風になるはずないじゃないか。
So that last bit where you're like you've trained really hard, you lose your skills and you have to earn them back. This is the character arc of Jade Curtis from Tales of the Abyss. Basically, he's like the lieutenant of a military or something, and someone curses him that basically takes him from like level whatever 60 down to like level 5 or 10 or something, and then him leveling up is him slowly battling the curse to re-unlock his powers, which was a pretty cool idea, I thought. And the final boss's monologue: "Stop slurping me, please."
そんなに怒鳴らないでくれないか。頭が悪そうにいたもんだ。嘘じゃない。彼女は自分の方から私に接触してきた。整形までして。この
Can I do that longer and more operatic?
彼女のプランだよ。
Sure. So it starts with me being backwards, because every good villain starts like this. I'm clearly petting a cat that you can't see. Ah, heroes. You have arrived. I have only one thing to say to you before you meet your doom, and that is... Would you please stop slurping me? Is that what you wanted? Clip that for awkward shout-out.
何でも頭の中の神様が全て教えてくれるんですが、最初私はホームレスの子供が食べ物欲しさにくだらない作り話をしているんだと思ったんだよね。
My like shout-out clips are either me doing something really dumb or something that really makes you question whether or not it should be allowed around other humans. Those are the two things. And even his face twists in pain, he smiled proudly.
なんと未来の2036年の私だったんだよ。
あんたは本当のマッドサイエンティストだ。
Suddenly, I heard a siren down below. I knew the ice cream man was here! Just hearing the sound made me feel uneasy. I'd never heard a sound like it before.
ゲリラ攻撃情報。ゲリラ攻撃情報。当地域にゲリラ攻撃の可能性があります。屋内に避難し、テレビ、ラジオ
I feel like if you're gonna use guerrilla warfare, you shouldn't announce your attacks. I feel like that's counterproductive. I heard that announcement coming from the speakers on the street. Oh, cool. I can just, like, stop the power of sound with menus. This is amazing. Like, my boss is really annoying today. Menu. Oh, it fades out. Now I'm disappointed. Okay. Oh, now I have to find, what is it? The guerrilla warfare, whatever. Because it counted as being red because I opened the menu 5 times. Guerrilla attack information. One type of instantaneous national alert. J-alert system. In case of an emergency like a large-scale disaster or armed attack, the J-alert system uses communication satellites to automatically activate all disaster warning systems in the country and warn the populace. When activated, the J-alert triggers a series of loudspeakers and sirens placed all around the country. There are several different types, such as the emergency earthquake alert, Tokai earthquake alert, tsunami alert, eruption alert, weather alert, ballistic missile alert, air raid alert, guerrilla and special forces attack alerts, and a terrorism alert. A guerrilla attack? I could hear several helicopters in the sky above me, and they weren't playing the MASH theme song, so I didn't think I was in for a good time. Their engines were clearly more powerful than the ones in the media's news choppers. I recognized the sounds from the time I spent in the wartime world line.
言っただろう。ここは間もなくタイムマシンを奪い合う戦場と化すんだ。
第三次世界大戦が始まるのか。
まさかこの町の住民も自分たちの都市の中心から世界戦争が始まるとは。
Just want to remind everyone, this is the good ending. Starting a world war is the good ending. And then Lesson leaned up against a wall, sat down, and stopped moving. Whether he'd passed out or gone into a coma from the brain damage, I didn't have time to find out. It's like the air in the city had gotten heavier. Starting a world war is the good ending. Yes, it is. That's how it felt. A chill ran down my spine. I'd spent a month at war in that world line, and the same future was about to begin here. Something like that couldn't happen in Japan. It was like a TV show or a movie. But I knew instinctively that this wasn't fiction. That I'm a real boy. There had been signs since 6 months ago. Here in Akihabara, in Tokyo, in Japan, spies and soldiers from around the world had been working in the shadows. So I'd known this would happen. By refusing Suzuha's request and choosing the world line where Mayuri survived, I doomed over 5 billion people. Killing 5 billion people, still the good ending. I was the one who chose this. Is it safe? I mean, Samus has food, maybe he'll stop hangry bamming you. Can't speak for Deadbeard, though. It was me. I looked and saw that Suzuha was pushing Mayuri into the time machine. Killing 5 billion people? Still the good ending. Yes, you also missed this. Be may thirsty Bam. Suzuha had no idea that Kagari was already dead. She leapt into the cockpit. I raced over and grabbed onto the hatch, then looked inside.
過去ってまさか1年前あの日へ行くのかこんな急に
急ってわけじゃないんだ。それにあの日へは飛ばない。
She was tapping commands into the console as she spoke.
あの日へは飛ばないってどういう。
ちょっとまゆ姉さんを借りるよ。
Mayuri was already strapped into a seat. Just like when I jumped a year ago with Suzuha.
前よりお前
Yeah, the slurping was based off of a quote that Deadbeard pulled out. If I remember the context from that quote, there was like these giant mosquito enemies that would come and like stick their mosquito, whatever you call the little beak thing in and just suck out your blood. It was this quote. You want to raid the Toronto Zoo? Please do not slurp the animals. I mean, I know giraffes have those long tongues, but you shouldn't use them like that. I heard fierce gunfire and screams in the distance. Looked like some of the spies had started fighting each other. Kagari may have just wiped out a force from one nation, but an army from an entirely different one was still coming. Please don't slurp the animals. I mean, I know giraffes have those long tongues, but you shouldn't use them like that. Thank you, Beardy. Mayuri handed me a smartphone. I took it without thinking. If I could open my cell phone, I could read it. Also, when did you wipe the blood off your face? Samus says timed out sherbet. Reason? Oops, finger slipped. Samus says, I think you need to get some less slippery fingers. I mean, that's the same reason that you gift all those subs in my channel, because apparently your finger just slips. Gosh dang it, Deadbeard. Now you know how Iori feels. Mayuri gently rubbed my cheek, and she smiled sadly. She softly pushed my shoulder. Bye. It threw me off balance, made me let go of the hatch. Then the hatch closed. It was too late. By the time I grabbed back on, the hatch was sealed shut. The door control, I would tend to pluralize that. Door controls were biometric. Only Suzuha could open it now. The time machine started to roar. A pale light began to gather around it. I'd seen this before in the Alpha World line. Just then, a group of armed men kicked open the door and swarmed onto the roof. They were highly trained military operatives. And then an attack helicopter descended from the skies. The soldiers started to shoot at it, but the helicopter seemed to ignore them as it slowly hovered in place. I realized the powerful rocket launchers on either side of its body were aimed at me, no at the time machine. Can we go an episode without a group of armed men storming something? Yes, when we storm something. It couldn't be. But my worst fears were realized. The helicopter fired its rockets. They headed straight for the time machine. It was still there, shrouded in light. Game devs were just like, there hasn't been that much fighting in this game. Can we just like cram just like all the action to the last like 3 hours of the game? The second I yelled, a powerful blast blew me back. Next thing I knew, I was crawling on the ground. Saw that some of the soldiers had already joined the mountain of corpses on the ground. Just one teeny little war, please. Some of them were still shooting at the helicopter. I stood up as fast as I could. My whole body felt like it was on fire. Then I realized it was, because my skin was burnt in places. My clothes had been blasted off. Man, now I understand why Team Rocket liked getting beat up so much, because every time they blast off, their clothes went missing. No, my own problems didn't matter. What about the time machine? I looked up towards where the time machine had been. It had jumped in time. It should have been able to avoid the rockets. Oh no, Team Rocket's naked at high velocity again! But... there were scraps of metal everywhere. I could tell they belonged to the time machine. Beardy, if you... I can't remember where I saw this meme, but it was the most not safe for work Pokemon meme I've ever seen in a long time. And it was someone going like, I finally realized why James wanted the Weepin' Bell and why Jesse wanted the Lickitung. Just think about that for a second and not safe for work reason, and you'll probably figure out why. I see you figured it out. And they have great pictures, which are very suggestive. Had I not made it in time? I looked around in the cloud of smoke. You can sit in the corner and pretend you're too innocent to get this. Rock always wanted to be a Pokemon breeder. Looks like Team Rocket wanted it more. I love how we're just having a nice, good laugh. Well, meanwhile, the main character's just in the middle of a war with bodies piled everywhere. His two best friends may have just been hit by rockets, you know. It's normal stuff. I couldn't see Mayuri or Suzuha. I couldn't even tell if they were alive or dead. There were no bodies. They'd simply vanished. After that, things went far beyond my power to control. It's okay. This is the good ending. All your friends dying, still the good ending. Brutal battles took place on the ground and in the sky of Akihabara. I'd seen footage of the war in the Middle East on the news. Those same scenes were playing out in Akihabara. All your friends dying? Still the good ending. I managed to slip through the chaos of battle and barely escape the radio building with my life. I had no choice but to leave Kagari's body. I took the long way back to the lab so that no one would find me. By the time I arrived, the sun had set, and the night sky was illuminated with explosions and tracer rounds. There's gonna be one page of quotes that really reflects poorly on my personality. The whole of Akihabara was like someone had poked a beehive. I mean, do any of my quotes reflect well on my personality? I feel like that's the opposite of what quotes are used for. The lights were out at the lab. But inside I found Daru, Maho, and Ferris staring at the TV and computer monitor. Why does people taking their shirt off give you ideas, Deadbeard? Purity is just chaos in disguise? I feel like a chaos disguise would be really hard, because the chaos is very minimal. The disguise is just a shirt. I didn't have the energy to answer them. I looked towards the footage on the TV screen. The reporter was wearing a bulletproof vest and hard hat. He was screaming at the top of his lungs, trying to drown out the reporters from the other stations. And then, a stray shot from an anti-material rifle, fired by a special forces team from some country or another, struck the news van's engine and blew it up. An SDF soldier forced his way onto the screen and yelled at the media to run away. Cries in mansion. Just after that, I heard another explosion, and the video was cut off. Did they take a direct hit? Everyone fell silent. Oh, can I open my phone now? No, of course not. Dora stormed up to me, infuriated. What if they went back to the future?
まるで跡形もなく消えたみたいに。あの二人ちゃんと過去に止めたのかな。
The tears I'd tried so hard to hold back came pouring out. Daru fell to his knees. Barris and Maho were staring at me, eyes wide in shock. Daru slammed his fist into the floor. I tried to wipe away my tears and realized I was holding something in my right hand. It was the cell phone that Mayuri had given me. Well, can I open my cell phone now? She told me to read the message on it. It wasn't locked. Oh, could you imagine if she gave us the phone and it was locked and like, well, guess we'll never know. I opened the mail folder. There were several unsent messages addressed to her friends and family. One of them was addressed to me. Is this what she wanted me to read? With shaking fingers, I tapped the screen to open the message.
けどうまく言えるかどうかわからないし、オカリンに引き止められると迷っちゃいそうだからメールにしました。私はすずさんと一緒に過去へ行ってきます。なんでってオカリンは怒るかもしれないね。
Yep, exactly, Samus's. And what's even better is I bet you they had to do this this background for each language that they localized this into.
でもこれは私がやらなきゃいけないことなの。だってあの時私の彦星様をどんなに苦しい時でもいつも立ち上がって高笑いをあげてた。
For not bringing up the baby shark version.
暗い雲の向こうに隠しちゃったのは私なんだから。
And for anyone curious, what I've actually noticed about this version of the song is I think this is the first time that there's that violin in the background.
私ね、勘違いしてた。みんなは未来をオカリン一人に押し付けようなんてしてなかったんだね。オカリンの周りにはダルくんがいて、すずさんもいて、デカくんもいて、フェリスちゃんもいて、ユキさんもいて、それにマホさんも加わった。だから今度はね、私の出番。だってこれはラボメンナンバー002の初めての大きな任務なんだから。オカリンはきっと心配すると思うけど大丈夫だよ。
Well, you hit your character limit. This tweet cannot be sent.
それにもしも何かあったとしても必ず助けに来てくれるって信じてるから。私の大好きな法院京馬が新しく作ったタイムマシンに乗って必ず。だから私は行ってきます。必ず戻ります。オカリンのところへ戻ってきます。少しだけ待っててね。私は法院京馬のことが好き。でもね、岡部倫太郎のことはもっと好きだよ。
お前忘れてるだろ。お前は俺の人質なんだぞ。いなくなったら人質にならないじゃないか。何かあったら助けに来いだと。人質のくせに生意気だろ。狂気のマッドサイエンティストがお前なんかのために。お前なんかのために。お前はバカだ。でももっとバカだったのはこの俺だ。
My heart was in pain. It hurt so much. It was just like after I'd killed Chrisu. Maybe I'd be better off if I just fell over and died. I would do anything to be released from this pain. But in the corner of my tear-blurred vision, I saw it. Kyomahoen's final weapon, his last hope. No, it was the thing that had brought me so many nightmares. I staggered to the development room and threw off the cardboard that was covering it. There it was. The phone wave. Name subject to change. Unit 2! The thing that Maho and Dara have been working on behind my back. If I could complete this... I turned around, wiped away my tears, and saw my friends looking depressed in the middle of the darkened room.
お前たちタイムリープマシンの作り方がわからないと言ったな。俺の言う通りにしてくれるか。クリスの導き出した回をお前たちに伝える。それでタイムリープマシンは起動する。
Maho said the one thing she didn't know was how to compress the memory data, which means that everything else was finished. And I knew how to complete it. Dara was the first to nod.
やるよ。教えてくれ、オカリン。
私も手伝うわ。決まりだにゃ。
All three responded with no hesitation. Why does he say time leap machine? Are you asking, like, why isn't it a time machine? They turned toward me and spoke their answers clearly.
よし。ダル、セルンにハッキングをかけてくれ。LHC を遠隔操作する。そこで記憶データを36バイトまで小さくする。それなら過去へ転送できる。
たったの36バイト。
Oh, I don't know. There's actually a good number of stuff that is said in English in this game. You could tell she was a scientist by the way her face went pale at the number. But yes, I'm pretty sure it was said in English.
ブラウン管工房の42型ブラウン管。それが点灯している時に電話レンジカッコ仮は機能を発揮する。
ブラウン管。あ、そうか。
Just the words CRT were enough for her to figure it out. The life was coming back to their eyes.
完成させられるかも。でも完成したとしていきなり使うつもり？
I mean, you could also ask, why does he name all of his schemes after, like, Norse mythology? I think it's... I don't know how to describe it, what the word is for it. Eclectic? He just likes picking, like, things from different areas.
何の実証もせずに人体実験まがいのことをするなんて。
自分の作ったものに自信が持てないのか。
でも
別の世界線でクリスはやってみせたぞ。
それはクリスだからよ。私はあの子にはなれないわ。
アットチャンネルに書かれたクリスのメッセージを見ただろう。
Lastly, I'd like you to pass a message to the person I respect the most. Myself! I always regarded myself as an essentially ordinary intellect. And you were always the person I wanted to be. You were the real Amadeus.
クリスにあそこまで言わせたんだ。なのに逃げる気か。
You know what I really want? I want us to open Mayuri's message to Daru and for it to just be like, LOL, bye.
逃げたりなんかしないわよ。見くびらないで。
I nodded back and smoothed back my hair, which had been mussed? I'm not familiar with that word. Did they mean to say messed? Or is must a word that I just don't know? By the explosion. Ferris brought me my white lab coat, which had been hanging for ages on the wall in the development room. I bit down on my lip, wiped away the tears one more time. I took the lab coat and slipped my arms through the sleeves. Thank you, Samuses, for educating us all. Or at least me. I mean, I think you have enough feet pics. You've got a folder of feet pics of me, do you not? I spun around so that the hem of the coat flew up and stood triumphantly in the center of the lab, just as I used to. Thank you, Deadbeard. Oh, and we can't miss this. And then I declared in a loud voice... Who gave the child condoms?
これより電話レンジカッコ仮2号機を完成させタイムリープを行う。俺に力を貸してくれ。
I mean, Daru and Rintaro are university students. At least they're okay. And Maho is 21. She's okay. Ferris?
今度こそ俺は絶対に諦めない。
I looked at Daru and Ferris, and finally at Maho.
何回何十回何百回ダメだったとしても何千回何万回何億回と挑んで何もかも全て救ってみせる。鈴葉もマユリも。
Okay, you heard him. A billion more tries. We're going to be here quite a long time. The condoms are just, well, this is how Deadbeard's father explained it to him. I'm glad that you finally graduated from being a bottom. Is that what being a top means? It's you have the privilege to use condoms? Is that how it works? I guess now that I think about it, yes is the answer to that question. For the first time in a year, I was back to my old self. My friends saw me and nodded, their faces filled with resolve. It took almost 2 full days to finish the work on the phone wave. Meanwhile, the Chaos in Akihabara continued, and it wasn't safe to go outside. Working on the time limit machine, well knowing that the battles might reach us at any minute, or that a special forces team might burst in at any time, was a hard job that wore on our nerves. But still, we managed to finish the machine somehow. I jumped. I thought he, like, jumped for joy, but nah, he's jumping to the past. Next thing I knew, I was standing in the middle of an Akihabara alleyway. I was holding a cell phone in my hand. Okay, so we have this in our phone, so Mayuri has heard about the past. So it's sometime between when we were talking to Maho and before the attack on top of the tower. I had a nasty headache and there was a stinging pain in my neck. I felt a pain on one side of my head like a migraine headache. The left side of my face hurt really bad. My vision flashed with dark and bright spots. I took a look around. The alley was still peaceful. I heard no gunshots and no explosions. The otaku were enjoying their shopping, and girls in maid outfits were calling out to passers-by. That alone was enough to tell me for sure that the time leap was a success. I looked at the time on my smartphone. July 7th, 5:45 p.m. Great, glad I can tell time. Also, we still had Wi-Fi connection. And bars. I had around 40 to 50 minutes before the war began. That still wasn't enough. But the 48-hour limit of the time leap machine meant this was as far as I could go. No point in getting negative. If the machine had been finished just a little later, it would have been too late. I should be glad to have made it here at all. I knew what I'd been doing at this time. I was running around Akihabara looking for Mayuri. First, I needed to call Maho. You should have been looking for Mayuri too.
Yeah. だが場所は分かった。急いでラボに戻ってきてくれ。
I hung up before she could answer and went back to the lab myself. She was already there by the time I arrived. I was acting a little awkward, probably because he just hit me. I grabbed both of her hands and shook them. Both Maho and Daru seemed confused as to what was going on.
48時間後の未来からタイムリープしてきたんだ。マジ？
完成させたの？最低でもあと48時間以内に。
ああ。
一体どうやって？
説明は後だ。いいか、時間がない。よく聞いてくれ。何人もの命がかかってる。
I'd gone over the mission many times while waiting for the work on the phone wave to finish. I thought of everything to say.
すぐにアマデウスにアクセスして、クリスとマホをバックアップごと全部消去しろ。レース記念はあれを平和利用するつもりなんてない。
何を？そんなめちゃくちゃな。
タイムリープしてきたって言っただろ。あと1時間もしないうちに秋葉原が戦場になるんだ。タイムマシンが狙われるんだよ。それが第三次世界大戦の始まりになる。阻止しないと鈴葉もマユリも死ぬ。
Maho and Daru went pale when they heard that.
え？マジ？だから俺の言う通りにしてほしい。
データにはアクセスできるけど、外部からいじるには教授の持っている管理者権限が必要よ。
そこから先はダルの仕事だ。クラックしてデータを完全破壊しろ。オキドキ！任せろ！
Daru started typing at incredible speed. His daughter's life was on the line. Maho stood next to him and typed in her ID and password to begin accessing Amadeus.
俺はラジカンへ行く。ここは任せたぞ。オカリン！鈴葉を頼む！はあ、任せろ！
Daru didn't even look up from his computer. Also, we already can't access our phone anymore. When I made it to the top of the radio building, Mayuri quickly ducked behind the time machine. Mayuri was trying not to look at me. Her eyes were a little red because she'd been crying so much. She'd heard me talking about Krisu's sacrifice in the Alpha World line. My heart ached again, realizing how much I'd hurt her.
マユリ、タイムマシンで過去へ戻るつもりか？
どうして？
俺は48時間後からタイムリープしてきた。
Okay, let's talk a little bit about time travel right now. Here's the world line. Let's say right here at my wrist is right now. So shortly after, they're gonna time leap, or time travel to the past. And after that, we're time traveling to just before that so that they don't go to the past. Someone want to figure out how that works, please? I guess we're on a different world line if we stop them. Fiction. Just gotta believe. I nodded.
あと30分もしないうちに戦場になる。
まさかタイムマシンのことがどこかから漏れるの？
あ、
If you just believe. Aggressively optimistic chaos. Yes, Samus, it still exists. I moved over all of my things except for 2, which was Riot and Unriot. Those are the only 2 that didn't make the cut because I need to figure out, and Beardy has sent me some stuff on how to do this. yeah, there's no dabs. You can't make me dab. See, look at this. My arms are as wide as possible. They're not going near my face anytime soon. But yeah, I want to be able to do, basically be able to pull stuff from files. So that's on my list.
まずい。だったら今すぐに飛ぶしかない。
Sousa leapt into the time machine.
ちょっとだけ待ってくれ。ダルドヒア嬢さんが今先手を打っているところだ。
What bot am I using? I'm using the Streamlabs chatbot. You have enough points for Scold? Why does everyone want the Scold now? Guys are gonna be lucky to get more juggles.
でも、もし仮に思い通りにいかなかったら。
行かなかったら。
お前たちは死ぬかもしれない。
かもしれないってどういう意味？オカリンおじさんがタイムリープする前の世界で私たちはどうなったの？というかおじさんがタイムリープしてきたってことは何か致命的な失敗があった。そうなんだね。
I didn't know if I should tell them. No, there was no time to hesitate. Is there a cooldown on the Scold? I believe there is. I think there's a cooldown. Scoldfest? Scoldathon? Scoldchi?
でも乗っていたお前たち2人の死体はマシンの残骸の中からは見つからなかったんだ。
なるほど。だからかもしれないか。それなら未来は確定してない。まだ成功の可能性は残されてる。
鈴葉ならそう言うと思った。
止めないでよ、おじさん。
Her eyes were filled with resolve. It seemed to say if I tried to stop her, she'd do whatever it took to ensure I failed. Of course, I had no intention of stopping her. She'd come here to do her job, and there was no way to change her mind. Actually, I'd come here to ensure that she could jump without having to worry about Stratfor's interference. But Mayuri, the uncertainty that had been going in and out of my mind ever since I'd read her last message, reared its head again.
Mayuri, 本当に言ってしまうのか？お前に隠し事をしていたのは謝る。でも俺もクリスもみんながお前のことを大好きなんだ。そんなお前を助けたくてこの世界線にたどり着いたんだ。なのにお前が言ってしまったら俺たちは。
りん。
いや、お前の気持ちは痛いほど分かってるけど。
ねえ、オカリンおじさん。
And then Suzuha spoke
オペレー
softly.
ションアークライトが発動したんだよ。
オペレーションアークライト。
私が聞かされていた当初の計画とは違う。戻るのは去年の7月28日じゃなくて8月21日になった。
8月21日。
That was the day Suzu had come in the time machine. The day I'd given up on everything.
そのオペレーションにはマユ姉さんも必要なんだ。未来の父さんから私はそう指示を受けた。ついさっき。
なんだって。
The future Dara would come up with an operation I knew nothing about. Needed my Yuri for it. Her unexpected words sent my mind reeling.
おかり。
Then, Mary came close enough for me to hold her and grabbed my hand tight. She looked a little like she was about to cry, but her eyes were clear and bright.
行かせて。マユシーもラボメンなんだよ。落ち込んじゃってる彦星さんをマユシーが引っ叩いてきてあげるから。お願い。
I remembered what was in that message. I remembered how she must feel right now. The last remnants of my hesitation slowly melted away.
わ、俺一人で何もかも背負ってると勘違いしていたんだな。周りのことが見えてなかったんだな。マユリだけじゃない。俺の近くにはたくさんのラボメンたちがいるのにな。
おかり。
And now you're dead. Oh, now we're dead. I suddenly felt a horrible pain in my leg as the shock knocked me several meters forward and onto the ground. I looked down at my leg and saw that there was a red stain around the calf. It felt like it was on fire. Pain flared up each time my heart beat and I couldn't stand. Was I just shot?
お前、かがり。
A girl in a motorcycle suit was standing there. Kagari had a handgun in her right hand. In her left, she was holding what looked like a bomb. There was no sign of the professor or the other men in camo. Not much was fortunate, but Kagari had shown up a little earlier than I expected. I hadn't quite planned for this, but evidently I'd run out of time.
マシンに乗るんだ。今すぐ飛べ。くだらないことを言って悪かった。お前を守るためなら誰はどんなことでもやってのける。失敗なんてするわけないよな。
オカリンおじさん。
だからマシンは無事に飛べるだろう。
もちろん。
In fact, there's no sign of anyone but Kagari showing up. It meant that Dara and Maho's efforts had been successful, and they'd kept the secrets of the time machine out of Stratfor's hands. He was looking at my injured leg and panicking.
14年後までは絶対に死なないからな。
Kagari fired again. The bullet struck less than 30 centimeters away from where I was lying on the ground.
誰も動いちゃダメ。じゃないとその人を殺しちゃうよ。マシンに乗らないで。それは教授に渡すの。その後使い方を教えてもらってかがりが未来へ帰るのに使うんだから。
構うな。ここは俺が何とかする。早くしろ。スザムだ。係のことは俺に任せてくれていい。
分かった。マヨネさん、中へ。
Suza pushed Mayuri inside the time machine out of my sight.
ホカリンおじさん、かがりのこと頼んだよ。
了解だ。
Suza followed Mayuri inside. At the same time, the hatch started to close. Kagari ran up to it. I forced myself to stand up, ignoring the piercing pain, and blocked her way. Kagari kicked my injured leg, and hard. Pain made me so dizzy I could hardly stand. Kagari slipped past me and tried to grab onto the time machine. She was going to use the bomb in her hand. If he did, things would turn out the same as last time. My time leap would be wasted. I grabbed her from behind and wrapped my arms under hers. I pulled her away from the machine, ignoring the pain in my leg. Are you sure this is the good ending? Yep. Mayuri tossed a hard drive to me from the almost completely closed hatch. What fell on the floor was the thing Chris had left behind for Maho. I thought Russia had destroyed it.
これからのタイムマシン研究に必要なものだと思うから。
I could just barely hear Suza's voice from within the machine. That was it. Daro had hid it in the time machine? I could see Mayuri looking at me from the small, yes, very small gap in the door. That's right, this was a temporary goodbye. I'd see her again someday. Right, Mayuri? I would send off my brave lab member 002 with my head held high. Like the small war or the small incident. I smiled as the hatch sealed completely shut. The time machine started to roar. I felt like I heard a helicopter in the distance. I believed in him, but for now I had no proof that Daro had been able to crack the complicated Amadeus system and delete every bit of data. It was possible that Special Forces teams from all around the world were converging on Akihabara right now. Imagining that made me want to hurry. Quickly. Go quickly. I felt like praying as I watched the pale light surrounding the time machine. Gari's cry went unanswered. That's what the sound of time travel is like. A bright light covered the time machine and it vanished from this world. Kagari sobbed and glared at me with eyes full of hate. I thought the sound of time travel would be like a buzzing sound or an angry voice saying, "Wait, are you inside me?" She shook away my hands and pointed a gun at my head. I stared her dead in the face. If you wanted to scold a stupid man, I could have done it. That's like my job.
この世界のためにとっても大事なことをしてきてくれるんだ。
嘘だ。ママも鈴葉お姉ちゃんもかがりを置き去りにしていったんだ。
I'm not paid, thank you very much. That's right, you shouldn't pay me. There you go.
嘘じゃない。俺も君がもっと幸せな場所でまゆりと出会えるようにこれから頑張ってみる。だからもうやめにしような。
そんな話信じられない。
I can't believe that. Being happy? Clearly a lie.
いや、君なら信じてくれるはずだ。だって俺は君が本当は誰でどんなに優しい人か
Hero.
よく知ってるから。
Hero. You said you had the points for a scold. And yet, you could have saved it for something so much better. Now you get the sad music behind, while I look at you with this finger in your face and make this very disappointed smirk. Shame on you. And shame on Deadbeard for hosting it too. There you go. I'm like the Scrooge of Twitch. I'm just here to make all of your days worse. The gun barrel started to shake a little. Lightsaber go burr. Lightsaber go burr. Arm go
知ってる。俺は48時間後から
Thank you for the quote.
してきたからな。
No, I did get rid of that one. I did see your message. Kagari put her hands to her head as her body spasmed with pain. And now for your trouble, Deadbeard, you just get to be reminded that you gifted a sub to Uncle-Bot when I told you not to. What happened? Are you talking in-game, Samus's? Or what Deadbeard was looking for? Yeah, Deadbeard had added a quote at the beginning. It's okay. I said this to Samus's when Deadbeard told me not to. Killing 5 billion people? Still the good ending. Kagari wasn't making any sense. Was this brainwashing? Had the professor done something so cruel? I mean, he's only willing to kill 5 billion people. What's a little brainwashing on top of that? I grabbed the flailing hand that held the gun and looked deep into her eyes. She was crying and scared.
ママはきっともう戻ってこない。でもこれから俺たちが頑張れば、もしかしたらママも君も幸せな形で一緒に暮らせる世界が訪れるかもしれない。君のママはそのために時間を飛び越えていったんだ。そのママの気持ちを台無しにしちゃダメだ。君は今からでもやり直せる。
神様の声に逆らってもいいの？
The voice of God she was hearing was probably the professor's brainwashing. How far its claws sunk into her mind, I had no way to tell. But now we had Maho, a specialist in brain science. We work hard at treatment. I'm sure she'll be okay.
ねえ岡部さん
Her voice was normal
マ
again.
マに会いたいよ会えるかな
会えるさ。いつか。
よかった
Not if you're dead! There was another sudden gunshot. Kagari's body collapsed right in front of me. Looked over at where it came from and saw another girl in a black motorcycle suit. She wasn't wearing a helmet, so I could tell it was Moka Kiryu, pointing a gun at us and taking a picture of us. Her face was deathly pale and she was crying.
なんでお前がこんな。なんでだよ。桐生萌えか。
FB ねえ FB 私あんな女になんか騙されなかったこんなの偽物の携帯だって分かったよだからお願い私を見捨てないで FB
The cell phone fell from her hands. Another shot from her gun blew it into fragments. I held Kagari in my arms. Her chest was turning red. And we reused assets. Why is she crying to Facebook? FB was like the code name for her supervisor. But yes, we just called them Facebook. There are Facebook quotes somewhere in the quote list.
よかった神様の言う通りにしても間違うことあったんだ自業自得ですよ彼女の心を踏みにじって利用しようとしたからごめんなさいこんな子になるつもりじゃなかったのねえママどこなの
Her voice grew thinner. Moka Kiryu collapsed some distance away. Her eyes were unfocused and all she did was mumble. She didn't seem capable of coherent thought. Both of them would be in danger if I didn't get them to a hospital. But I didn't care. Oh, or these guys can finish the job. Dozens of men in camo jumped over the fence on the roof out of nowhere. Even Daru and Maho couldn't succeed in this short a time span. Or was this world line going to converge so that the war started here no matter what? No, but...
無駄なんかじゃなかったさ。
if nothing else, they'd bought me time. Not had delayed the attack long enough for Suzuha and Mayuri to leave. That's right, in this instant, we'd already won. The way forward was still uncertain, but there was no doubt that the path to Steins Gate lay before me.
目標1ロスト。目標2、目標3もロスト。どうなってる？
The leader was talking on his radio. I could see attack helicopters in the sky. I heard that siren again.
ゲリラ攻撃情報。当地域にゲリラ攻撃の可能性があります。屋内に避難し、テレビ、ラジオをつけてください。
How much longer is this ending? Well, if you didn't curse my endings, Hero, maybe we'd be done by now. But also, after this ending, there's another ending! The war was starting. Just as I had thought, even the time leap machine couldn't change that. I don't currently have a way to blame Hero. Yes, so, I feel like I mentioned this. So this, what we're in right now is the, like, normal ending. And then after that, because we've done other parts in the game to trigger the true ending flags, after this, there's the true ending. Well, why? Fine. Let me add to my notepad. Add hero scold command. There you go. It's in my notepad. It's going to happen. Dr. Lesson appeared from behind the men. That's right. He was a secret member of Stratfor, just like them. True ending hype. It's dang it, Chaos. See, because we can't blame Hero, we have to blame Chaos for this long ending. I lay Kagari down on the ground and slowly rose back up. Blood wouldn't stop coming out of the wound on my leg. Pain was getting worse. But even still, I stood up proud and strong. In front of the men with their guns. In front of the attack helicopter with its rocket launchers. In front of the professor. In front of the war that was about to begin. I laughed as loud as I could in that voice. Hope you guys have all missed his laughter. Yeah, if you have to sleep, Deadbeard, no problem. Oh, cool, he's holding me. Yes. Deadbeard is watching in bed and thinking, no, I don't want to bang the sun. Please don't make me bang the sun. That's right. This was the beginning of the long, long epigraph necessary to reach Steins' Gate. Madness is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Einstein had once said that, when he despaired of human folly. But now I would gladly give myself over to that madness and folly. I would use every bit of dedication and obsession within me to seek the lone different outcome which the laws of God could not reach. That might be the normal ending done right there. Yeah, that's the normal ending. Oh, it's got such like nice happy music. It makes me look super pale. So that's the normal ending hype. We still have the true ending, which takes place after this. And I think it's going to be like the last one, where after this credits just continues. You should have told Mr. Game Man to make this ending longer. I mean, let's take a quick look at my Steam, and how many hours have we put into this? I played it for 86 hours. And after each game, I always like to go through and I sum up the total time each series took. Some of that time is just me having it open before a stream. So probably more realistically, we're looking at high 70 hours, but we're still not done. So both those theme songs, Amadeus and Lyre, Ito and Zwire, two musicians that I swear they have on every single one of these games. They're used, I think Ito is used in basically every single game that Adventure Science has put out. Zwei, I think, is more the later ones. Oh, here's all the names of people they ripped off. And enjoy that, because that's getting DMCA'd for sure. Okay, this is the true ending. So if we didn't do the true ending flag, that would be game cut right there. But now we're doing the Milky Way crossing, which is the true ending.
ダイバージェンスを変え、未知の世界線、シュタインズゲートへ到達する計画だ。ちなみに、シュタインズゲートと命名したのは俺だ。
So where in the timeline are we now? So I think what this is supposed to be, and I'm sure they'll explain this, but I think what this is supposed to be is this is now supposed to be the after effect of Suzuha and Mayuri going back and just like slapping us in the face and being like, no, stop being a whiny baby.
特に意味はない。そうだろう。
Oh, actually, yeah, and this is actually us in the future now. Yes, the bot's not me. It's Pot Pie. So, I'm not Pot Pie Plays anymore, because clearly Pot Pie exists. 2025 AD, the Future Gadget Laboratory, aka The Lab, who is also the headquarters of the resistance organization Valkyrie. Once located in a room in a multi-purpose building in Akihabara, it had been moved to a new base after the Third World War. That's negative. If it's negative 2025 AD, that probably just means you get banned. I mean, see, I can prove that it's not me. Give me 1 sec. There you go. Pot Pie told you that they are not the streamer. So there you go. It's not me. The place was far too filthy to really be called a lab. It was, without doubt, the home of the best minds in the world as they searched for a way to reach Steins Gate. Why was I typing while the bot was chatting? Suspicious. In the center of the room, Rintaro Okabe was delivering a monologue, posing like a stage actor as his white coat flapped. Dang it, Ferris looks like she hasn't aged. Meanwhile, we look like we've been hit by a truck.
俺の計画の下準備は完了した。あとはお前次第だ。最終ミッション。オペレーションスクルドの概要を説明する。
Operation Scald, the final mission to reach Steins Gate, given by Rintaro Okabe in the year 2025 to himself in the year 2010. So this is the recording that he sends to himself at the end of the true ending of Steins Gate the First. It's not... Okay, fine. It's Operation Scold. There you go. The parameters for the mission success were as follows. Change the results of established events without changing the events themselves. Deceive the original Rintaro Okabe. Deceive the world. Skuld is the youngest of the 3 Norn sisters, the goddesses of fate in Norse mythology. She sits at the Erd Spring at the base of Yggdrasil, the world tree, where she tends to the tree's growth. Skuld is the goddess that controls the future, and also one of the Valkyries. You've already had your Skuld. I scolded many of you for the hype train. Krisu, aka Maho Hyajo, was staring at him, annoyed from a distance away. Chrissy was Maho's codename in Valkyrie. Maho turned towards Ataru Hashida, who was sitting right next to her. They are standing, clearly standing.
あれはあれでいいの?
多分ね。
Whatever you say, hype train conductor Samuses. Ataru was grinning. He was history's greatest super hacker, and he loved Ho and Kiyoma too much.
みんなと一緒にあれを見ることになる2010年の凛太郎は恥ずかしくないのかしら。
大丈夫。その頃はもっとすごかったから。
ああ、そう。
Maho sighed and shook her head. But even as she sighed, inside she was so sad. She felt her heart was going to burst. She probably wasn't the only one feeling that way. Itaru, Luka Urushibara, and even Rumiho Akiha, who was doing the filming, all seemed a little sad when they thought about what was to come.
最初のお前を騙せ。世界を騙せ。それがシュタインズゲートに到達するための選択だ。
Then Okabe walked towards the camera that Rumiho was holding. He'd insisted on standing away from the camera with his back turned to give it more atmosphere. So why was he walking towards it now? Maho sighed again. Okabe took the camera from Ferris and brought the lens up to his face. And then he said the final line.
健闘を祈るぞ。狂気のマッドサイエンティストよ。エル、プサイ、コングルー。
And then he stopped the recording. The video message to the past was complete. It had taken 15 years to get to this point. It was such a long time, and at the same time it had felt so short.
はい、これでバッチリだね。
よし。あとは D メールと一緒に過去へ送信。ルカ子、送り先とタイミングを間違えるのよ。
はい。今のは2010年の京馬さんの携帯アドレスへ。
How have they not, like, pre-made this?
さっき撮ったイタルさんの
Yes, so Samus this is them filming the video, which gets sent to Okabe between the first failure, well, I guess after the first failure of going back to save Christina.
ああ、よろしく頼む。
Okabe came over to Maho and the others, his white lab coat flapping as he walked.
お疲れ様。
これでシュタインズゲートへの道筋はついた。今の俺にできるのはここまでだ。あとは2010年の俺次第といったところだな。おう。なんだ。ずいぶん暗いじゃないか。
だってやっぱりみんな不安だもの。タイムマシンの試作機でいきなり有人実験なんて。
Maho looked up at the huge time machine, unit number FGC-193, behind them. I think that FG was Future Gadget. And then I can't remember what C stood for. It was almost the same shape as the C-204 model that had appeared in Akihabara in 2010. It was still a prototype with many unstable parts.
大丈夫だ。俺は有能な右腕たちを信用してるからな。絶対に成功する。
Dang it, Funky! You stopped that. But I'm glad you were going off to bed. Have a wonderful sleep. It was nice seeing you, if only for a second.
あなたが死ぬのは2025年。この世界線ではそれが確定している。
Have a sleep.
だからって
One sleep,
自分から死に
please.
に行くような真似は感心しないわ。
They'd had this debate 1,000 times before. There you go. See, Samus thinks that Funky should be going to bed. Maho herself had thought she'd come to terms with it, but at the last minute she found herself bringing it up again.
確かに俺はかつて鈴葉からそう言われた。2025年に死ぬと。あいつの話じゃ真由里をかばって暴漢に刺されるんだったかな。今この場に真由里はいないが、世界線は収束する。だから俺は今年で死ぬものだとずっと思い込んできた。けどな。
Kabe flipped his white lab coat a little too dramatically and put his hand to his chest.
それは
I mean, to his eyes.
死の必然とは限らないんじゃないか。この俺が2025年にこの世界線から消えるという選択もまた死と同じ意味に解釈できると思ったんだ。
どういうこと？
This theory was new to Maho.
つまり2025年に俺がこの世を去るというのは別に死ぬわけじゃなくて、記念すべきタイムマシン初号機に乗り別の時空間へと無事に旅立ったことを意味していたのだ。
ものすごいポジティブシンキングだわ。
でも仮説としてはありだろ。世界は騙せる。
Okay, here's another circle for you, Samuses. This is the message that we got that was triggered by getting all the true ending, well, the single true ending flag. This text right here is what makes the difference.
別の世界線から届いたそのメッセージが俺に勇気を与えてくれた。これから俺がやろうとしているのはオペレーションスクルドの実証実験みたいなものでもあるんだ。
そう。確かにそうね。
But to Maho and the others, it was all the same. After 2025, Rintaro Okabe would be gone. He would never come back. He wasn't saying it, but he knew it too. He stared at each of his friends for a moment in turn, as if to help him memorize their faces. Most of the founding members of Valkyrie and the former members of the Future Gadget Lab were here to see him go. Yataro Hashida, Rumiho Akiha, aka Ferris Nyan Nyan, Luka Urishibara, Maho Hiajo, and standing quietly in the back, Yuki Hashida. A 7-year-old Suza Hashida was hiding behind her legs.
みんな、今日まで俺みたいな男によくついてきてくれた。だが、神の摂理を相手にした戦いはまだ続く。次は2036年だな。それまでよろしく頼む。ワルキューレの健闘を祈る。
As she listened to Okabe's final goodbye, Maho tried her best to stop herself from crying. She couldn't cry here. She decided long ago that she'd keep hope in her heart as she watched him go.
よし。そろそろ逃げた人質を捕まえに行くか。
鈴葉のこともよろしくな。
任せろ。こいつに乗せてあるカーブラックホールのトレーサーがあればきっとうまくいくさ。
That was a special device that only the C-193 was equipped with. It was capable of tracing the space-time distortion continuity created by a Kerr black hole, anywhere from 70 million years in the past to the future. You could call it a time machine tracker. It had been specially designed to allow them to find another time machine. Of course, they had only one reason for making it: to find Mayuri Shina and Suzuha Amane, gone beyond the space-time horizon on Tanabata in 2011. They'd guessed that when the battery on the C-204 failed, it had lost the ability to properly time travel. So after finding them with the C-193, Okabe would give them a spare battery and send them back to this time. If possible, he'd go too. If they could do that, this mission would be 100% complete. But doing that with this prototype time machine would be extremely difficult. Okabe had to have known that. Perhaps he was thinking of sacrificing himself to send Mayuri and Suzuha back to this time.
じゃあ行くよ。
おう。
待ってください。
The last member of the future gadget lab, Kagari Shina, came running onto the floor.
かがり、姿が見えないと思ったらどこへ行ってたの？
ごめんなさい。これを取ってきたんです。オカリンさん、持っていてください。お守り。
Kagari handed him a faded green Upa keychain.
いいのか？君の大切な宝物だろ？
はい。だからこそです。絶対に返してください。ママと一緒に。
わかった。必ず返すよ。必ずな。
Kabe took the keychain and gave everyone one final, firm handshake. Finally, he came to Maho.
元気で。
君もな、クリス。いや、マホ。
ねえ。シュタインズゲートは実在すると思う？まゆりさんが死ぬことなく、そしてクリスも犠牲にならない。そんな狭間の世界線が本当にあると思う？
It was the first time she'd asked that in 14 years, since the battle on that year's Tanabata.
あるさ。絶対に。
Rintaro Okabe, Hoen Kyoma, answered her with a smile. But his smile seemed so sad that Maho couldn't help but cry.
泣くなよ。
泣いてないわよ。
Maho gave him a hug and swore to herself that she'd never forget his warmth and conviction.
いってらっしゃい。
Kabe nodded a little.
よし、全員下がれ。これよりオペレーションを開始する。なお、作戦名は
How have you not named this operation yet?
オペレーションアルタイルとする。
He shouted as if trying to raise his own spirits, not just everyone else's. Then he entered the cockpit of the FG C-193 time machine. Maho and the others quickly began the countdown sequence to start the time machine. Since this was a trial run too, they needed to record all the data they could get. A low roar enveloped the whole machine. The vibration noise was so loud that the building shook a little. As far as Maho could tell, the data was normal. The thick hatch of the time machine was slowly closing. Then there was a sharp sound of it sealing tight, cutting Okabe off from the rest of them forever.
うまくいくわよね。大丈夫。京馬は必ずやり遂げるにゃ。
その通りです。不可能を可能にする人ですから。
ああ、それでこそ僕たちのオカリンなわけでね。
オカリンさん。
A rainbow-colored fog started to rise up around the machine. The sound of the engine grew so loud that it threatened to blow out their eardrums, and no one could hear a thing.
オカリン!
Tara screamed, unable to hold back any longer.
お前の死が確定してるとか、んなことどうでもいい。やっぱ。
I feel like just because this is the training, it's gonna be the longest of all. I don't know about that. What I find in these kinds of games is the true ending is actually usually very short. Compared to the regular ending.
みんなずっと待ってるから。私も待ってるから。
Because, I mean, that regular ending was, I don't even want to guess, like, 7 or 8 hours long. As they screamed, the machine started to fade away. And then, just as he'd promised on that distant day, he'd followed the two Orihimes. With a blinding flash of light, the time machine took off from the year 2025, heading for a time far away, and disappeared. Was that it? Was that everything? You may have just, like, anti-jinxed it, Hero. I think you just anti-jinxed it. Unless they're gonna give us a second series of credits with another ending after it. I'll see if I pushed a button. I may have skipped part of that cutscene. I'll see if I did. There's also some other cool stuff I want to show you. Did anything really important happen? Not overly. Basically, all this ending confirms is how the video message gets sent, and how Mayuri and Suzuha make it back to this time, because they're currently stuck. And also, why does Okabe disappear in the year 2025? Yeah, what Chaos says right there. Normally, in these kinds of games, true endings are more of like the nice closing epilogue. All the characters say goodbye, and like it tries to wrap everything up nicely. Like, there's some quote-unquote true endings that are no longer than like 30 seconds. But yeah, I'll go back and see if I accidentally skipped some of that last cutscene, and I can also now show you the different endings, because they have a nice little cathode ray tube ending thing as part of the game. And once that's done, so this one's interesting, Chaos. Like, normally that is what happens, but in this game, what it did was it set up the true ending of the first game. It's kind of weird like that, in that for Steins Gate, the second game is the bad ending that needed to happen for him to make it to the good ending of the first game. Because after this, there are other Steins Gate games. Which I probably will not be playing. One of them's just like a side story game. One of them's a very moe game that I don't care about. Oh, we got new wallpaper. That's cool. And I can't remember what the other one is. But let's take a look at some of these extras. So first of all, let's go to that CG library and see if I accidentally cut through... I'm guessing it's the very bottom scene. Oh no, this is... How do I get to the movies? I'm just gonna use my mouse, because that's probably simpler. Or not keyboard. Oh, there it is. Why is that so annoying? Okay. Those are the endings. Okay. Okay, is it this one? Oh no, that's... Movie library, that's probably what I want. No, this is the same thing. Screw you, Oopatoons. this? No. That's just all the music that's gonna get copywritten. Okay, is that the start of this? No. Why does it feel like an hour later than it really is? Okay, well, I mustn't have skipped anything then. I'm not seeing anything. But here's the other thing I wanted to show people. The clear list. We have all the clears. So each, as I was saying, each of the endings is tied to a specific character. So we started with Twin Automata, which is Maho's ending. Then we did Recursive Mother Goose, which is Kagari's ending. Then we did The Promised Rinsamento, which is Christina's ending, and that's the one you need to do to trigger the true ending. Then we did The Bad Ending, which is Gehenna's Stigma on the far right, which is the Professor's. And then Vega and Altair is Mayuri's, which is the normal ending. And then the true ending, the Milky Way Crossing, is ourselves. Not 100%. I don't think we 100%ed it. Let me take a look at... Yeah, I'm missing 3 Steam achievements. Let me see what they are. What achievements are we missing? Read all the tips. Ignore a text message. And that one's super annoying, because I looked this up. You have to ignore the text message and then finish the entire, and then make it to one of the endings, which is super annoying. And then the just get all achievements achievement. So we're missing 3. How did I miss it? Let's see. I mean, is there one we haven't read, maybe? No, we are missing it. How? Maybe there's one, in a text message if we chose a different option? I don't know. Yeah, 1 tip is missing. There you go. So yeah, that was Steins Gate 0. I'm just going to switch to me. Actually, I'll switch to the ending screen for a bit. So thank you to everyone who is part of this, how long was it? 80-some-odd hour journey through Steins Gate 0, and even more so if you were here through the original Steins Gate.